Hello and welcome to a Busy Webinar. I'm Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb. Delighted to have you here with us on this snowy Wednesday in Minneapolis. We're talking about customer retention today, how to stay visible to keep your customers coming back. I'm your host, Dave Meyer, and what I'd like to share a couple of things about you or with you today if you need to get a hold of us, or if you would like to request the slides from today's event. You can reach me at dave@buzzyweb.com, or you can hit us on Facebook or Twitter. And we'll also have the support line, which is 612-424-9990, available if you are having problems. Before we get into that, though, I'm going to share with you our agenda quickly, and then we're going to get into how to ask questions if you do have questions during the event. We're going to talk a little bit about BizzyWeb, who we are, what we do, how to stay visible with clients, how to manage your online presence, time savers, and then your engagement game plan, again, on how to continue to engage with current customers to keep your business growing and flourishing. So let me switch over just a moment to Chrome so that we can share details about how to ask questions during our event today. So on this event, you'll note from the email that you received that there's a couple of things live on the page. You may already be watching the video live from the embedded video. If, however, you'd like to ask questions, simply click on the highlighted Google Plus link on the page under number 1. When you do click that link, it's going to take you to a new page that looks a lot like this. You'll notice that it has a Q&A bug up in the upper left or upper right corner. It says live right now. If you're watching this after the event is done, you'll just see the Q&A. But when you click play, it's going to open up a new window. And I'm going to hit pause here so that you don't hear me talking twice. But when you see this, you'll now see the embedded window, and you'll be able to ask questions by clicking on the Ask a New Question button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. So if you click that Ask a New Question button, you can click on that and then ask a question here. So when you ask those questions, I'll be checking back occasionally during the event. Would love to have you ask those questions, and they can be about anything in digital marketing, not just customer retention best practices, but we'll give special precedence to anything that does come in that's specifically about customer retention and the technology that we're going to be talking about today. So let's get right back into it. And again, as a reminder, we're going to talk about staying visible with your clients, your online presence, time savers, and your social engagement plan. So first, let's start with a little bit about BizzyWeb. We're a digital marketing agency based in Champlin, Minnesota, which is a suburb of Minneapolis. Been around for 17 years now, and our team of 14 serves clients all over the world. These are pictures of our hive in Champlin, Minnesota, and I would love to have you stop by if you happen to be in the neighborhood. We're an online digital marketing agency that helps with WordPress-powered web design, email marketing, social media marketing, search engine optimization, content writing, and of course, Google AdWords and other types of campaigns. Basically, when you work with BizzyWeb, you get an entire team for less than the price of hiring someone on as a digital marketing staff member. So let's jump right into who we are and what we're trying to get into today, and that is how to stay visible with your clients. So I'm going to get a little bit esoteric for a minute. What you have as a business owner is very powerful. You already have loyal and happy customers. You provide an excellent customer experience. And of course, especially to your customers, you have interesting and important things to say. Customer engagement is all about taking what you already know, the ways that you can help your clients, the advice and information that you have that they don't have access to, and bringing that in to their consciousness through your consistent efforts to connect. Engagement used to happen over a fence, right? We used to have the white picket fence, and then we had a water cooler at work where you would connect and you would share stories. Well, that's really been replaced by online marketing. And so Facebook, Twitter, email marketing, Pinterest, your website, all of those things are now easy ways to continue to connect with the people that matter most to us when it matters most to them. When they're thinking about you, when they're thinking about your products or services, when they're in the mood to receive, or if they just happen to be tuned in when you provide something that's going to capture their interest, that's a great way to connect and to continue to grow your business. You need to have content on social media, via email marketing, and of course on your website if you want to capture folks when they're ready to receive. So let's look at this on what the business experience looks like now for working with your customers. So first, of course, you're going to provide that wow experience. When you provide that experience, every good marketer needs to know that you need to entice them somehow to stay in touch. That might be through a link on your website, a connection, and an invitation to connect, something to give us a call. One of those calls to action that if you're a fan of BizzyWebinars, you've heard me talk about many times. The entice to stay in touch is going to allow you to continue to engage the people that matter most. In this case, your customers. They already know you enough to have experienced that wow experience, and you've told them how to stay in touch, and now you're going to continue to engage. The nice part about when people are engaged, they tend to keep coming back for more. So that's the best way to continue to grow your business. Now, there's a side benefit as well. When you engage with folks, that also drives social visibility. When people click like on a Facebook page, or when they share a post that you've made, when they share an email that you've made, or perhaps forward it on to someone else, that also drives new prospects to your door. So that's the best way to continue to connect. And again, the upper right-hand corner and the top two are probably our best options. Providing a wow experience, which you're already great at, and enticing people to stay in touch is what we're talking about today. When you're building around your customer, what you need to do is outline who your ideal customer is. So look at this and create what we call in the marketing industry a persona. This is a kind of imaginary friend of yours, your best customer merged together, or your best 5 customers all merged together and connected into one super customer. Think about who your favorite clients are. And when you're thinking about what they do, if you could have one more of those clients every week, every month, or even every year, what it would mean to your business, and really think about, for those people, what motivates them to want to work with you. You're doing something specific that entices or engages them. You can think about, if my ideal client didn't know me yet, where would they be searching and what would they be searching for to find me? What are they going to type into Google? What are they going to be trolling Facebook for? What's going to capture their attention when they're on Pinterest and looking for my products or services? Think about that so that you know how you can give them the content that they want. A good marketing persona, and again, send me a note if you'd like to get this template, but knowing who your favorite clients are, all the way down to their demographic information, their interests, their behaviors, their attitudes, the goals that they have, in particular around what they're trying to do with you, but also just kind of in general, will help you identify what's best for them and the kind of information that they're most interested in. And again, once you know that content that they're most interested in, that helps you figure out what to say. And there's a general rule of thumb about the types of content that you should drive. I like to call this engage, inform, capture, and convert, but there's also another way to think about it, and that's about half of what you do should be designed to get likes, shares, and comments. So inside of your marketing, inside of your website, your email marketing, and your social media, you should be entertaining people, inviting conversation, asking questions, providing information to engage your clients or prospects or customers, and really get them to take notice of your product, your service, and remind them that you're still around. From there, being useful and informative should cover the next 30% of what you do. Helping them, giving them answers to their frequently asked questions, giving them the information that your last customer really perked up about and said, I had no idea. Sharing that type of information that proves that you're the expert at what you do, and the one to go to the next time they have that need is one of the best ways to continue to deepen customer relationships. And then finally, the last 20% that you share on all of the networks and media that you can share on should be about your business. This could be calls to action, telling them what to do next, telling them that there's a special event coming up, to download a white paper, to call you today. It might even be a special or a buy now call to action. Note that buy now shouldn't be the only thing you offer to your clients. Instead, you should give them maybe about half of that, maybe about 1 in 10 posts that you make or updates that you make could specifically entice people to buy. If you're a retail store, this might get very tempting, but keep in mind that people will quickly label you as a spammer or tune you out entirely if it's always all about you. Make your communications to your existing customers and to all audiences really about them and their needs. I've said this a number of times, but people that are looking for a drill bit aren't actually looking for a drill bit, they're looking for a hole. So your job is to fulfill the need, to find the hole that you fill for your clients, and to supply the answer, the information, or at least a little tidbit to get them one step closer to what they need. So what does this all look like? On the 50%, might be fill in the blank. I'm thankful for blank as a small business owner. Connect out and let people connect with you and ask additional questions. From a little bit earlier this year, components of my Thanksgiving dinner were purchased locally. I'm thankful for small business and Thanksgiving leftovers. Engaging posts, interesting content that's designed to help generate interest, to be as shareable as possible. Humor works well, but be careful that you don't get too edgy with your humor, especially if you're trying to publish political or religious views, because as many people agree with you as don't, and you might be alienating half of your potential audience if you say the wrong thing in online marketing. Some EE cards, which is listed on this slide, by the way, is a great example of a way to get free, easy to use, kitschy content. This is silly clip art that you can use and type your text over the top of. It includes the Some EE Cards logo, but that's fine. Another tool that you might want to look at is Canva, C-A-N-V-A. And again, if you have any specific questions or want me to repeat those, by all means, note that in the Q&A tool or send me a note at dave@BizzyWeb.com, and I'll make sure to get you the information that you need. So entertain, invite conversation, ask questions. In a word, engage. Another engaged tool to create content people will want to share. Your content should entertain, have value, create a sense of scarcity and exclusivity, elicit an emotion, and blank. What do you think number 5 should be? Engage people in conversation. It's been said that social media and really all digital marketing is like attending a cocktail party. What you do in order to be as interesting as possible and a great guest at a cocktail party is listen and engage others in conversation. The person that only talks about themselves or that's mumbling in the corner or not hearing anything that anyone else is saying are the folks that usually get asked to leave and certainly don't get invited back. Make sure that you're connecting and engaging with your customers. It's been said that the customer is always right. Sometimes I agree, sometimes I don't, but in general and always, the customer just wants to be heard. So fill the need and prove to them that you know what they're interested in. Success isn't just about what you accomplish in life, it's about what you inspire others to do. Interesting and helpful. This is actually a Canva example of a quote that was found out there. Present it well, present it interestingly, and engage people to connect. So that's the first 50%, engage. The second 30%, inform. Connect with industry info, hints, tips, curate content, and prove to your customers that you still are the professional that they should go to whenever they have the need that you fill. Example, understanding EdgeRank to maximize your page's reach, details an infographic posted to Pinterest in this example on what you need to know about Facebook's EdgeRank metrics. Another from Constant Contact, hot diggity, did you hear the news? U.S. consumers spent $5.5 billion shopping small last Saturday. Another, holiday tip, help your business stand out from the holiday avalanche by adding a personal touch that your customers are looking for. Use I and we and you and your instead of I and we for your content. So engage and connect. Interesting information that includes helpful tidbits, ideally directly relating to the tools and the connections that you give to your clients. People are looking to you as the expert in your industry, and you're subscribed probably to industry publications, you attend networking events, and you experience in your everyday life as a business owner things that your clients need to know. Share that need to know information. If you deal in information, by the way, you don't have to give away the farm. You can just give a quick overview or a helpful tip or trick or something that's the beginning of what you need to know. And then what's especially engaging is if you just give them enough of a teaser and then ask them to click for more. Clicking for more might include having them subscribe to your email marketing newsletter, or subscribe for more information, or log in to become a member, or call us today for a free offer or special. Giving them that next step. And that is what that last 20% is about. Calls to action, not buy now. So are you or your business on Instagram? We are. Check out our new profile. And we always welcome customer feedback to help us improve our products and services. And when it comes to Save Local, you spoke and we listened. Give them a next step. If you're doing the other 80% well, the obvious question people are going to ask, especially if they're already your customers, is how do I do more? What's the next step? I'm ready. You sold me. You got me. I want to know more. Give them that opportunity to take the next action. Can also include a special or a promotion. Unwrap big savings this Cyber Monday. Check in, give them that special, give them that offer. But again, you shouldn't lead with that information. It should almost feel like a foregone conclusion that they want to connect and engage after you've helped them enough. Here's a couple of questions to ask, 3 in fact. What's new at your business or organization? What did you do recently to help someone achieve success? And finally, what advice have people been asking you for lately? Again, you're living in your business. You know more and you are an expert in your business precisely because you know more than they do. Share some of what you know to keep them engaged and to keep them wanting more. And then give them the next step so that they keep coming back and so that you've got them as a regular resource. The more people see you, the more obvious and visible you are inside of your customer's daily life, the more often they're going to come to you when they need help. So that's how to stay visible with your clients. Now let's take another step. And actually, I'm going to switch over for just a second to make sure we don't have any questions. Got a lot of viewers on, but no questions yet. So hopefully I'm just doing my job and that's all we need to know. But if you do have a question, or if you have an example or a request on how I can help with a message to fit either the engage, inform, capture, or convert, or that 50-30-20 rule, then let me know and I'll help you brainstorm through that. But feel free, don't be shy. This will be posted on our YouTube channel after we're done. But the more you ask, the more it's helpful to you. All right, so let's talk next about your online presence. There are 3 basics to engage your customers. You've got your website, you've got email, and you have social media. All 3 of these are essential. And a lot of times we will discount one of the 3. Maybe we're big on website. We've got a beautiful website that we know is working for us, and we're doing email, but we just don't see the point in social media. Or maybe you're completely new school, and you got your website, and you got your social, and you got your social email or social media, but email seems weird to you. All 3 of them are essential for your business. Your website is the foundation upon which everything else is built. And it can also be the Swiss Army knife publishing tool to allow you to update your website and then have your website update your social media, your Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, Tumblr, and more. You can also seamlessly integrate the content from your website into a regular email newsletter. No one, unless they're your employee, and sometimes not even then, is going to be visiting your website every single day. But the #1 app on mobile devices and the #1 tool used in business today remains email. 85% of people check emails primarily on their mobile device, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so let's talk first about your website. It's the hub of everything you do. Without a website, you just don't exist. It's absolutely where your clients will look for you first. Note that I'm saying look for you first, not find you first. They might run across you in social media. They might see an email. They might drive by your place of business and notice that your sign's up on the wall and wonder what you're doing. But they're going to search for your website first. So make sure that you're taking advantage of that website to put your best foot forward, to connect and engage your clients where they're spending their time and where they expect that you're going to be. Search engine optimization will take it one step further. And when your clients are already looking for you, when they're looking for those keywords that you know your clients search for when they're making a purchase decision, you just want to get found. The way to do that is to be consistent and include helpful content. And finally, of course, include prominent calls to action. People need to understand what they should do next. When you're getting a visit from a new client or from an existing client, your job as a digital marketer is to take the guesswork out of that interaction. Think about people browsing on a mobile device with their thumbs, walking down the sidewalk. They don't have a lot of time. They might be standing in a line and they're next up, but they know that they want to get a hold of you. Inside of 3 to 10 seconds, ideally closer to 3, your visitor should know what to do next. Buy now, click here, contact us for more, download this white paper. And as a matter of fact, calls to action can be put onto every page of your website at least 3 times, at the top, middle, and bottom, for maximum response. I talked a little bit about mobile devices. And mobile devices mean your phones and your tablets. On April 21st of 2015, Google stopped showing non-responsive sites in mobile searches. What that means is that when someone is searching on a mobile device, even if you rank very well for a specific set of keywords in Google, you won't show up on Google search results on a mobile device. That's bad news because 80% of searches originate on mobile devices. We have these amazing supercomputers in our pockets every day now, and when we think about something or we're ready to search, we're much more likely than ever to just grab our phone, pop it out, open up Google, and make a search. Clickable phone numbers and fast websites are very important, especially on mobile. The fast part is important because you cannot guarantee that your visitor is going to be on a Wi-Fi network or even on a fast LTE network. They might be in a hole, or they might, like my parents, have a house that's wrapped in aluminum siding and just don't get great reception. My father tunes into these a lot, so hey, Dad, if you're listening. Clickable phone numbers and fast sites are incredibly important because it takes that angst out of making the next step. So when you think about how to get people to take the next step, you need to design for the experience that your client is working from. So if they're on a phone, and chances are they are, you need to know how to take advantage of that. And if you need to talk about mobile responsive stuff, I have a BizzyWebinar from a little while ago that covered the basics of mobile responsiveness. There's a difference between being mobile responsive and mobile friendly. Having a mobile friendly website simply might be to have a plugin on your website that offers up an alternate version. For best results and to get ranked on Google you need to have a mobile responsive website. As a cheat, if you want to check this, you can open up your website on a computer. Take the window that your computer is, or that your computer browser is in, and squish that window as skinny as possible. I will actually take that and I'll show you on Google Chrome right now. So from BizzyWeb's event today, if I take this window and I squash it as skinny as possible, you'll see that the design and the navigation is automatically reconfiguring to match this squished website. This is what the BizzyWeb website looks like on a mobile device. So note that you need to make sure that that happens. If your website simply cuts off to the right when you squish it as small as possible, then your website's not mobile responsive. So you need to start taking steps to help. All right, let's next talk about email. It's still the best way to continue to connect. You're going to want email if you want to push content and drive or pull a response from your clients. Content via email is the one thing that we can guarantee is going to get received by our customers. You can also do text-based marketing, but that's an entirely different story. And I've done webinars on text-based marketing before as well. A little bit more expensive. With Constant Contact, for example, which is what BizzyWeb uses for our clients, very inexpensive. For 500 people, can be less than 20 bucks a month to have a great looking email that looks like your company and that instills trust and drives actions. Email newsletters, take the next step and let people grow and connect their businesses with the customers that they're trying to reach. So if you're trying to see what people are most interested in, the types of communication that they're interested in, and what they're interacting with. So if, for example, someone clicked on this link through Constant Contact, I would know exactly who clicked on that link. So if I had a special deal or an offer or a call to action, I'd be able to tell the 5 people that clicked on that link and proactively reach out to them. There's a lot of different kinds of newsletters, but whether it's designed to keep your audience in the know with announcements, newsletters that are designed to keep people up to speed and up to date, specific cards or announcements, business letters, press releases, or custom code email. And custom code email includes some sort of text link or some sort of a connection or next action. All of that can be very informative and very helpful in continuing to engage your existing clients. So all this content, you might be wondering what to write about. Well, you know things that your clients don't know. You're part of associations, you read publications, and you're just living your business where your clients are not. So write about what you know that they don't, what you have access to that they don't. I mentioned already the newsletters, but you're reading and you're paying attention to things that your customers just simply don't have time to do. And original content, especially in email, isn't necessarily required, just that you're interesting and relevant. Now note that original is still sort of required if you're going to publish that content on the web for search engine results, because Google only pays attention to the first place that any piece of content is published, and that's called the canonical version. But with emails, it's not that big of a deal. Make sure, however, if you appropriate content from other sources, that you give credit to those sources. That not only helps avoid any legal issues from plagiarizing or from misappropriating content, but it's just good practice, and it can help drive additional traffic to your website, because a well-connected, well-linked website and well-linked content is a great way to increase your Google rankings by showing that you're a well-connected site. When you're publishing content, you need to battle now, later, or never. Especially in email marketing, these are 3 little words that are going to rule your world. People are thinking, am I going to read it now? Am I going to read it later? Or am I going to read it never? If they're going to read it never, they're just going to delete it. And if they're going to read it never and they don't know why they got this from you, or it's obvious that it doesn't match their needs, they might unsubscribe you, or even worse, mark you as spam. This is why you don't want to lead with sales messages. When you think about how to connect and how to get that now open, because later is really a Minnesota Nice version of never, you want to go and focus on these things. First, who is your message from? People want to know and will pay attention if they know the person that the message is being sent from. At a minimum, this has to be from your business for canned spam rules. You can't say it's someone else or that Bill Clinton is visiting your website or whatever. You want it to say that it's you, ideally, especially if you're the person that your client is most likely to know, or it can just be from your company if people are responding and connecting with your restaurant, for example. The next thing after from, they recognize the person, is what the subject is. I'm going to talk about this in another slide, but the subject is important because that tells them why they should care. I'm going to share a couple of rules on making sure that your subjects are as engaging as possible. Finally, think about when you're sending your communications. When people see a message will dramatically impact their likelihood of wanting to click on it. And again, you're going for now. If people decide that they're going to read it later, the likelihood that that later will turn into never is incredibly high. So when you test and send out messages, especially with a great tool like Constant Contact, you can send your email on 3 different days and then over a kind of an anonymized list or a randomized list. And then you can see what the best day is for your open rate or click-through rate. And then once you have your best day, you can pick 3 different times the next time you send and figure out what the best time is. You won't know these things unless you specifically test. Marketing is measuring. You need to measure what you're doing, and it's much easier to do the measuring that you need to do if you're using great tools like WordPress for websites, like Constant Contact for emails, or some of the other tools that we use every day. So I talked about subject lines. Here's how to win the battle of priorities. It's 2-2-2. 2 seconds is all that you have to connect and engage with people that are interested in your content. So your content needs to be digestible. That subject line needs to be digestible inside of 2 seconds. There need to be at least 2 words that specifically relate to some sort of an action. They need to understand what they're doing. And ideally, inside of the first couple of words, you need to get to the point. And finally, people want to know what's in it for them today. So you have 2 seconds to make an impression. At least 2 words need to actively engage them inside of that first few words, and you need to tell them what to do today. Here's how to win the battle of priorities. Here's some not so great content juxtaposed with good content. August newsletter. Who cares? It doesn't help me at all. Instead, tomorrow, I need 3 hammers. Can you help? This was a message that was specifically sent out by Habitat for Humanity. August newsletter wasn't going to get them any new people to show up at the build, but need 3 hammers. Can you help? Tomorrow got right to the point and got them the notice that they were looking for. Joe's Pet Store newsletter. Alert. Help your dog beat the heat. Right up front, right immediately, you're telling people why they should care, what they should do, and what they can do by reading this article. Children's classes. Still time. Openings available for children's classes. Same point, but much easier to understand. So we have email. We know our website. Now we need to figure out social media. And I'm going to give you an overview of the top social networks: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and for good measure, and for search engine optimization, Google+. So here's what you need to know about all of those tools. LinkedIn primarily is for business. Business is what LinkedIn's all about. About 300 million people are on LinkedIn. About 100 million of those are active. But for folks that are trying to connect in the B2B world, Or if you're B2C, but you're trying to find influencers that are in the corporate world, LinkedIn is a great way to look. You're looking for industry news, tips and solutions if you're a LinkedIn user. So make sure that your content includes those types of information. And it's really best used for sharing thought leadership. You want to prove that you're an expert in your field on LinkedIn. So spend a little extra time to give them details on why and what you know and why they should care. For your customers, you're going to want to provide white papers, business tips, content, and helpful information that helps them do their business better. Twitter is completely different. Primary audience is young adults, really more urban folks, people that are often on their phones. The majority of Twitter connections happen on mobile devices, and people on Twitter are looking for news, brand updates, and trends. So if you're sharing news, if you've got original and curated content, and you have little snippets of news that you can share in 140 characters or less, it's a great tool to use. Interesting fact about Twitter, you cannot really overshare on Twitter. If you're connected with Guy Kawasaki, or if you know of Guy Kawasaki, he was the chief brand evangelist for Apple, and he then became a prominent author. One of my favorite books of Guy's is The Art of the Start, and kind of a startup business Bible. Great content. If you're interested in finding great content, jot down one of Guy's personal websites, Alltop, ALLTOP. Alltop features all the top blogs from almost any subject in the universe. There's thousands of different subjects, and Alltop has consolidated all of those articles in one spot so that you can use them and connect with them and just keep up with your industry. For your customers, you're going to want to share product and service reminders and tips, especially if you have an urgent need kind of service and people want to get a text message every time you send out a tweet to them. You can use that tool to keep informed on updates. So you might have an alternate Twitter handle just for urgent updates to your clients if you have a tool or a business product or service that requires that type of update. For example, we have a specific Twitter handle and a hashtag for hosting issues because we host several hundred websites. Pinterest. Primary audience is women, interestingly enough, still around 70 to 75% women on Pinterest. Highly visual medium. So foodies, crafters, people that are sharing highly visual content. Pinterest used to be the prominent place for real estate and construction, but House has kind of stepped in on that, HOUZZ. Really, if you have something visual to share that people would want to collect and drop into a board or a scrapbook of their own, your content would be well shared on Pinterest. People are looking for photos, videos, products, tips, informational graphics or infographics, and it's really best for sharing that visual content. So if you have ebooks or content that works well, you can use Canva or some EE cards or some other tool like that to publish graphics that have text on them or quotes. All of that stuff can be shared on Pinterest. Share pics and videos that tell your story on Pinterest and take them to the next action. Instagram is one of the tougher ones. I made sure to clean the heck out of my office for you for this Instagram photo. Primary audience is really young adults, millennials for sure, folks that are largely digital native and mostly communicate via their phones. The interesting thing for businesses on Instagram is that it's almost entirely a mobile-only platform. You can get to Instagram via the web, but you can't post anything on your computer. You have to be on a mobile device. People on Instagram are looking for photos of people and products. It's best for sharing visual content for products, adding links to websites and blogs. And people are looking for photos, for highly curated content. There's all kinds of filters and things that you can use in both pictures and videos on Instagram. And so make sure that you take the time to curate and make your image look really good on Instagram. And then finally, Google Plus. Google Plus is really kind of a hack to make sure that you get found on Google. Google Plus is Google's social media baby. They've kind of stepped back a bunch since Google Plus was announced 3 years ago. But now Google Plus pages and the side accessibility of Google My Business is really helping you get found on Google. So if you have a lot of content that's published regularly on your website, making sure that you post to Google Plus on your page will provide what Google calls a spark that will allow you to show up more highly in search engine results. So use that. If you're inclined to engage as a social network and use this as your Facebook, more power to you. But really, it's most beneficial as a client connection to get you help get you found. Interestingly enough, one of the big things spun out of Google Plus is Hangouts, and Hangouts on Air is the tool that I use, that BizzyWeb uses, to share all of our video content. And you're watching a Google Plus Hangout on Air right now. We actually have more than 200 Hangouts that we've published, and our BizzyWebinar series now features a library of more than 200 things that we've done for free through Google Plus Hangouts. So you've got your content, you know where you want to publish, you're set up on your website, you're set up on email, you've got your social media locked in. Here's how to save some time with what you're doing. First thing to consider and to think about is that you can repurpose and reuse almost everything that you do. So if you spend time on your website can automatically post to all of your social media networks. So BizzyWeb powers websites. When we build a website, we build it so that it'll automatically post any updates that you make to that site to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, Tumblr, and a few other places. That content counts as content that's searchable and indexed for Google. And it also just makes you engaging and it eases your connections. The more you can do to cast a broad net and to make sure that you have something on all of the social networks that matter most while seamlessly integrating emails, and you can do all of this from your website, that's how you're going to save your time. So think about what can you do, have an editorial calendar set up, keep a clipboard of helpful, interesting comments or articles. I personally use Feedly as an RSS reader, and I tag content to Instagram. And then I share that Instagram content with our writers at BizzyWeb. But back when I was doing most of the social media posting, and I still do some, but back when I've been handing off content, our staff just keeps attached to the feed of the things that I've found most interesting for our customers. Keep a clipboard or a tool like that. And I like Sketch, I like Evernote. All of those tools can help you get collections of information that you can use. Again, what you're looking for your customers is the most interesting stuff to them. So what do your customers ask you about? What do you wish you could share with your customers that you wish every customer that called you knew? That's the kind of stuff that you want to share from your website to everywhere else. Finally, you need to have an engagement plan. So setting up a plan that's going to keep your customers coming back for more, setting up an editorial calendar, setting up an email marketing strategy and a social media strategy will help you continue to connect with the people that matter most. Setting your strategy includes, of course, knowing your customers, doing that survey, profiling them, setting up the overview or the persona will be very helpful. Setting a schedule to update. I say at least monthly here, but I'm really proposing now that our clients and everyone update their content at least once a week. And depending on strategy and upon the tools that you're using, you could post 10 times a day to Twitter and it wouldn't do anything but good for your business. Create special offers, create regular touch points, and of course, mix it up. Make sure that you're connecting up and that you're trying different things, measuring what you're doing and the results that you're getting, and keep doing more of what works. Don't forget, it's all about content. 50% of what you do should be to engage, 30% should be to inform, and 20% should be to convert. Engage, inform, capture and convert. And creating that editorial calendar is really interesting. So if you're going to do something at least weekly, take time on Friday to think about your next week and be flexible to leave 1 or 2 posts or content items open for whatever comes up. Now, how are you going to know if all this stuff is working? Of course, you're going to get feedback. You can use the measurement tools on your website via Google Analytics, on Facebook, on the Insights, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, all have ways that you can measure. But engagement, so when people are liking or sharing or connecting, retweeting your content, that's a great option. And that shows that you're working. Inside of email marketing, you can see specifically who's clicking on what. So that will give you a really good example or idea of what people are finding most interesting. And if you're interested in more about how to do that, last 2 weeks ago, I published How to Rock Your Inbox on this BizzyWebinar. And we talked about how to take the different kinds of metrics. Like if you have a high open rate, but a low click-through rate, that's telling you something different than having a low click-through rate and a high open rate. So we'll give you strategies in that, and check out that webinar from 2 weeks ago if you're interested in that. Finally, if you have more followers, you'll know that your content is working. When people share, when people grow, when your email list is growing from referrals, you know that the content that you're doing is working. The key to remember on all of this is that it does take time. For anything that you do, especially for search engine optimization, you need to factor in at least about 6 months for anything that you do to really start taking hold. Advertising is completely different because you can start getting results right away. You can boost posts on Facebook, you can run Google ads, you can send out email marketing and get content right away. But if you're trying to start ranking better and get to page 1 on your content or on your keywords, again, depending on your industry and the keyword that you're trying to rank for, that may be near impossible. But to get found when it matters, using organic tools like search engine optimization is going to take a little bit of time. So just be patient, be consistent, and it'll happen. I've seen it happen dozens of times for our clients. All you need to do is do the right things, be as helpful as possible to as many people as possible, and you will reap the rewards. There's no such thing as a free lunch. There's no such thing as easy connections in social media and marketing, but it's also not as hard as you'd think. You just have to be you have to be consistent, and you have to have a plan. So that's my content for the day. I'm just going to click over, make sure we don't have any questions. It looks like we're golden on questions, so thank you very much. No questions at this time. So if you do have a note, here's how to reach us. Go ahead and visit BizzyWeb.com/buzz to get a free buzz report if you're interested in that. And send me a note at dave@BizzyWeb.com if you'd like a copy of these slides or any of the content or information that I mentioned that was off slide. Canva, if you're looking for images, photo pin, if you're looking for other helpful information, how to use Google Analytics or anything else, just drop me a line, send me a note at dave@BizzyWeb.com, and I'll help you out. Remember, with BizzyWeb, we do web design and development, but also digital marketing. So if you need anything, we would love to help you out. And don't forget to join us every Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we're talking about offers and promotions. We're going to talk about search engine optimization, or the art of getting you ranked better on Google, SEO 101 on the 17th. And then we're going to cover newsletters and announcements, how to get the most out of your email marketing on the 24th. Be sure to subscribe at BizzyWeb.com/events and keep up with us each week. The content and information that we share in our email marketing is always designed to be as helpful as possible. So you're going to get weekly tips and help, and then a monthly newsletter probably. But our clients have really responded well to this. It's not a sales pitch or a marketing ploy. At BizzyWeb, what we really believe is that we get the success that we get by being as helpful to as many people as possible as we can. So in that last vein, go ahead and take the next step and fill out a buzz report to find out how well you're doing for the keywords that you have on your website. Type in your website's URL or web address, type in a keyword that you'd like to be found for, and click the Scan Now button, and you'll get a 10-page report back, including a couple pages of checklists that you can take to your current web provider. Or, of course, you can use that to start the conversation to have BizzyWeb help you today. Again, I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb. Thank you all so very much for reaching out to me. Here's how to connect with me again. Go to dave@bizzyweb.com, hit us at Facebook, connect with us on Twitter. We'd love to help you out any way we can. I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb, and thank you very much for joining us. Remember, at BizzyWeb, we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Have a great week.